From and there he is, Qananiisaa bekele, heading up, of course, a strong team, but it will be all about him, won't it? He's the one that they've all come to see. And he wants to take that title back, win his 6th World Cross Country title, making history. And away they go. Always a wonderful sight. The senior men's race, the biggest numbers at the World Cross Country Championships. And they sprint for the first 200 metres and then just don't slow down generally, is the way it happens. It's phenomenal the pace at which they go.
They sprint for the first 200 metres, then they go faster, don't they, Steve? And already, look at them, look how quickly they're opening, look how quickly Qananiisaa bekele's gone to the, he's absolutely sprinting there, and he's actually gone to the front right from the beginning. So, just letting them all know he's there, letting them know that he wants to go at the pace that he wants to go at. He'll try and dictate this race, and I would think he's going to take an awful lot of beating. Last time in Mombasa, he won 5 Gold Cross Countries in a row, and he lost the one. He dropped out because of the heat, he reckons. Here he is back again today, back in the lead, and trying to make this a record-breaking 6th World Cross Country title in the long race. Great ones, John and Ngugi of Kenya, Paul Turga of Kenya, they both won 5 long races. He's won 5, and he is at the age of 25 trying to win a 6th, and he'll win more if he wants to, I think.
There's Craig Mottram in 19th place. Americans again with a pretty good team, but not their strongest. Jorge Torres, he's certainly the best of their group that they've got here. Lots of their distance athletes not choosing to come to the World Cross Country. De La Osa of Spain. Well, there's a private race going on, you know, with the flags as well. Eritreans and Ethiopians running around behind.
I'm just looking there, Steve. I think Qananiisaa bekele's in trouble. I think he's lost his shoe. Like it came around that tight bend, and I think a slip there. And I think he's struggling now. I think he's there. We are looking back on this. There they come round there beside the bike camera on the inside. The athlete runs into him. He's either taken his shoe or he's hit his leg. But there's Qananiisaa bekele, the champion, the athlete who nobody believes could lose this race, bending over, trying to get his shoe back on. And I wonder, has he started? As we go back to the live pictures, the crowd are shocked by that thing there, but there's no Qananiisaa bekele in that leading group. I wonder if he's been able to get started again.
He has, Brent. I've just got the binoculars on him. He's got his shoes, both shoes back on. I'd say he's about 25 metres adrift and working hard to get back towards the lead. You'll see him, if you see where Craig Mottram is at the moment, there's Craig Mottram and about 5 metres back. There's bekele just going through your picture. There he is. He's moving through the field. He's got both shoes back on, and I guess it's early enough, Brent, if it happens at this stage and he's good enough perhaps to recover from that. They probably don't realise what's happened, and if they had been at the front, somebody been clever might have just picked it up a little bit. But it's early enough in the race for him to get, if he doesn't catch up too quickly and expend too much energy doing so, then hopefully not too much damage done. Now, all that's happened is the heel got taken off the back of his shoe, and he's obviously thought, well, I'm not going to kick my shoe off, I'm not going to run around either barefoot or with one shoe, and he's wanted to stop at this early stage to put the shoe back on. He's done that successfully. He's back in the race.
And there goes, in the blue vest for the first time, last year's champion, Zersane Tedessa, taking very close order. And I noticed that down the hill there, Qananiisaa bekele came very close to him. And this is the closest he's been to the front since he had that incident. But he's tracking Zersane Tedessa. He's very close to him. He's following him, because we've seen Zersane Tedessa as an athlete who likes to make it hard, likes to make it hurt, and likes to make an effort from a long way out. We've seen him do it on the track. We've seen him do it on the roads. We saw him do it when he won the Great North Run a couple of years ago, and we've seen him do it last year in the cross country. As the lone piper on the top of the hill tells us, we're in Scotland. Magnificent sight there overlooking Holyrood Park. And last year's champion, leading and stretching, bekele in 2nd place and just doing enough to be there. Booyah, the young man from Kenya, in 3rd place. And bekele just there, settling now alongside Tedessa, and maybe asking the question, are you going to press as hard again on the next lap as you did on that one? Because that was a tough lap.
That's Leonard Coleman, who's running very well, the best of the Kenyans at the moment, which is a little bit of a surprise. He was well down in the trials. Ebuya's now got himself back onto that group as well. And then there's a bit of a gap then to the third of the Kenyans, which is Masai. As I said, his younger sister already won a medal in the women's race. Masai in 5th place, a little bit of no man's land then. And as he watches those first 4 start to move away, and then there's a big group behind him. I'll give you some of the places set further down. See Hen right in there, doing much better than he has done of late.
Last year's champion at the front and the 5 times champion at the back.
Well, they've still got 1.5 laps to go. You can see the other athlete names going through there. Humphreys was in about 57th and Lemoncello 64th or 5th. I just missed it going through there. There's Mike Skinner's name just going through 73rd. So the British athletes, well, we weren't expecting to do so well in the senior men's at all. A long way back. They'll be watching these athletes as they perform on the sort of switchback, if you like. They're a good half mile ahead or so of some of the British athletes as the team positions going through. Great Britain in 10th. It's just coming up on the computer as they stand at the moment. Well, there's Masai. He's struggling a little bit, and he's going to have a few athletes chasing him down. See Hen going through. There's Kipyego and there's Chogi. Well, they put Chogi in. They thought perhaps he could come in and do something. He hadn't run so well in the trials, and he's been found out. He's been found wanting by the pace that Tedessa has set. And he has another look behind, and this will be disconcerting for him. He's made 2 big efforts to get away. Neither of them have been successful. The first looked as though he'd had more chance of being successful. There again on that corner. It's such a tight corner that you'd think they'd know by now, but they still insist on being tight on the inside. Now that being lapped there is Chris Simmons of Ghana in the yellow vest. Enfield and Haringey man running for Ghana. His father's British, his mother's Ghanaian, and he's just been able to wave bye-bye to Qananiisaa Bekele.
But you would have thought Bekele by now would have, he's had a slip there last lap. He had another slip on that one. You would have thought by now he would have just moved off the inside and let the wider bend take its place. But Tedessa really wants to make this hurt. Really has decided that the only way to beat Bekele when he's at his best is to run hard from a long way out. Ebuya looks comfortable on the shoulder of Tedessa, and as they go down the far side and get ready to run up that hill again, you can see the athletes running for position. They run to get themselves ready so that they can move and attack the hill, because on the hill it can be all won and lost. You might not win it, but you don't want to lose it up that hill.
Well, just a word, I think we should mention how well the 2 Kenyans are going. Joseph Ebuya and Leonard Coleman, not the 2 best known, but certainly Ebuya's got good pedigree. You've seen him on the track over the last couple of years, has impressed a lot, and just missed out on a medal in that Commonwealth 5,000 metre race in Melbourne. He's just starting to struggle a little bit now, Ebuya, and the pressure being applied once more by Tedessa. It's the penultimate time up this hill. And Bekele is working hard. He's deceptive at times, but he can dig deep, and he knows that if he can just stay with Tedessa, you've got to favour him in the latter stages. And Tedessa working hard, elbows and knees, pumping hard up this hill. There's not much of a stride length there for any of them, to be honest, because I kid you not, I'm not quite sure it's why it's named after a haggis bread. They said it's shaped like a haggis. Well, I've never had a haggis that looks like that, to be perfectly honest, but that's its name, and it's certainly a toughie.
What shape would you normally have for haggis, Steve?
It's kind of round, isn't it?
All right, okay. Well, last year's champion probably doesn't know what shape a haggis is either, but he's running so quickly down this hill. Bekele in 2nd place, and the 2 of them just to be beginning to pull a yard or 2 in front of the 2 Kenyans. But there's last year's champion, desperate to try and win it again, and he's worked so hard for it. It would be a popular victory in every sense if he was able to win it. A big victory would be a victory by Bekele, and a surprise victory would be a victory by Coleman or ë.ա of Kenya. So the two favourites are now neck and neck with a lap to go. Bekele again, after the first couple of 100 metres, he went to the front, and now, for the first time, at the beginning of the last long lap, Qananiisaa Bekele gets to the front. He's on the inside, and I hope he's going to be a bit careful around those little twists. I hope he's going to give himself a bit of space, and I wonder whether Tedessa is just taking a rest now. He's looking over his shoulder at all times. Bekele checking on how well Tedessa's going, checking on the two Kenyans. He knows he's got to get himself poised and ready, because he knows he can win this race on the hill. He could win it from a long way out in the past. I'm not sure he wants to do that. I think he wants to do enough just to win this race. He's a powerful finisher. He's a great athlete. He's the greatest cross-country runner we've ever seen. And is he going to be good enough today to win it for a record 6th time? Paul Turgat couldn't. John Ngugi couldn't. John Ngugi was Olympic champion. Paul Turgat, the marathon record holder after his spell on the country. But this man, once again, going very close to those corners, glancing at all times, just checking up on it. But I wish he'd run a little bit further out.
Well, look at this. Qananiisaa Bekele taking it to the field now, taking it to the defending champion Tedessa, who's done his best and looks perhaps to be just failing at this point. The only man who's trying to go with him is the young Kenyan, Leonard Coleman, but even he is trailing in the wake of the greatest cross-country runner perhaps that we've seen. He could underline that here today if he takes this title for the 6th time, and with every stride at the moment he's going away from the field. Of course, we saw Burka do this in the women's race, and then they caught her again, but to be honest, Burka's not in the class of Qananiisaa Bekele. He knows what he's doing. He loves this course here in Edinburgh. He loves this event, the World Cross Country Championships. He was so disappointed to lose the title in Mombasa, of course, on Kenyan soil last year. The heat and the general conditions compared to his chances on that day, but not here in Edinburgh. He's waited and waited. The shoe came off on, well, I think it was the second of the short laps early in the race, early enough for him to recover from that. So he's been tested here, if not by his competitors, then certainly by what happened in the race. And once again, he appears to have all the answers. And now the flags are already starting to wave. And to be honest, Brent, although there's still a little bit of running left in this, he's just going away with every stride.
Well, it's not quite a lap of honour, because he is having to work hard. He has had a hard race. He's had that little test early on where the shoe was ripped off, and he had to gather himself both physically and mentally, gradually working his way back to the lead. And now, only for the first time since the first couple of 100 metres, he's in the lead. He's got a lead. He's got what could be a winning lead, but he's running so precariously close to those edges. He's slipping and sliding. It's a tough course in every sense. And as he comes here, the crowd are waving to him. ë.ā in 4th place, Tedessa the reigning champion, and Coleman in 2nd place. So those 4 are the first 4, and I think things are going to change in the minor positions. But Qananiisaa Bekele looks to be assured. He's still checking over his shoulder. He still knows he's got some running to do. He knows he's got to get ready for that hill. But he's won more gold medals in the World Cross Country Championship than anybody in history, and he's on his way to a 6th victory in the men's long race. That's the strong man of distance running, the great one, Qananiisaa Bekele. Then Coleman of Kenya, who's run a fantastic race. Zersane Tedessa in 3rd, tried to win it, and ë.ā is catching up on him. And this is going to be all change here, because that hill really does make a difference.
Well, yes, Tedessa is running for pride as much as anything else now. He knows that the title that he came here to defend is disappearing into the distance and round the corner in the shape of Qananiisaa Bekele, just lapping one of the other athletes there. There he is. He's making a brave effort to go with Bekele for a little while, has another look behind, thinks better of it. But Bekele, as Brendan was saying, very much enjoying a victory lap here. And the crowds have turned out. I'm glad to say the sunshine has come out as well. And it was only fitting that this race here in Edinburgh should be graced by the man who's dominated world cross-country running for the last 6 or 7 years. The man who will go down in history today is the first to win 6 titles. And Edinburgh was so hoping that he could come here and produce a good performance. He's very much done that, and that adds to the occasion.
But the hill has taken a toll even on the great one, Qananiisaa bekele, struggling, working hard. Patrick Coleman in second place. Tedessa, last year's champion, in third, and Abuya, who's run a very good race, finished fourth here earlier in the year. Looks like he's going to be doing the same again, as the great Qananiisaa bekele comes down for a record-breaking run. Ethiopia have won all the titles today, individual titles, and it wasn't going to be that Qananiisaa bekele would let them down. Coleman looks as though he might have run himself into second place, and Zersane Tedessa, a brave performance as we watch the great one on his way home.
Just 150 metres to go. The crowd in the stands rise to their feet. The flags are flying for Ethiopia, as they always do wherever he goes around the world. The Kenyans tried to take it to him, so did Tedessa, last year's winner, but there was no doubt about the winner here today in Edinburgh. Qananiisaa bekele wins a record-breaking 6th World Cross Country title. Gold for Ethiopia. A superb performance from him. Coleman takes the silver ahead of Tedessa. Marvellous run from the young Kenyan. Abuya hasn't settled for 4, and they are a long, long way ahead of the rest of the field. But the class of Bekele really told in the end there. Masai comes through in 5th place, and Kenya look as though they may well take the individual title, which is the only thing that they're going to win here today, because it's been Ethiopia's day. 4 individual gold medals, and the one which will be celebrated the most, I'm sure, is the one that we've just seen, Qananiisaa bekele, going down in history alongside the great Kenyan names of Tergat and John Ngugi. Well, you get used to seeing the name of Qananiisaa bekele taking the gold medal at the World Cross Country Championships. The 6th time he's managed to do that. Nobody has done that before. His winning margin 3 seconds from Leonard Coleman, the best of the Kenyan athletes, and last year's winner, Zersane Tedessa, having to settle for the bronze medal.